Today, I'm going to show you how to turn the name Olivia into an amazing 3D drawing. And the best part is, it's actually just a piece of paper. I'm starting by marking the area where the name is going to sit. I want Olivia to have enough space around it because later we're going to make the letters extend beyond the page. Now I'm lightly sketching the letters with a pencil. I'm starting with the O, then the L. For the I decided to add a little heart instead of keeping it completely simple. Then comes the V, another I, and finally, the A. I'm placing that last A right near the edge of the page. And that position is actually really important because this corner is going to become our point of view. At this stage, it still looks like a normal name, but this is where the illusion starts. I'm drawing a series of lines from the letters toward that corner of the page. These lines are going to create the main structure of the 3D effect, so they all need to follow the same direction. I'm using a ruler to make this faster and to keep the perspective consistent. Once those guidelines are in place, I can connect them to the bottom of each letter. And now you can probably start seeing where this is going. The letters are no longer going to look completely flat. They're going to have actual sides. Now I'm darkening the left side of each letter. This is one of the most important parts of the illusion because these darker areas are going to become the shadowed sides of the letters. I'm doing the same thing with the little heart. Even though it's small, it still needs to follow the same lighting as everything else. Now I'm moving across Olivia, darkening the visible left sides of each letter. At this point, the drawing still looks a little rough, so I'm cleaning up some of the construction lines with an eraser. And now it's time to bring everything into focus. I'm switching to a fine liner and carefully defining the outlines of the letters. This is the moment when the drawing starts to feel much more intentional. I'm also outlining the side faces because these are what will eventually make the letters look like they're standing above the paper. And there's one small detail that makes a big difference. I want the bottom edges to stay really clean and straight. Now we can move into the shading. I'm using lighter pressure where I want the light to hit and gradually building darker areas where the shadows should be. Then I soften some of that graphite with a sponge or cotton swab. This creates a smoother gradient instead of leaving the shading looking like separate pencil strokes. And whenever I need a little more light, I can use the eraser to pull some of the graphite back out. That contrast between light and dark is what makes the 3D structure much easier to see. Now I'm going back over the contours again using different levels of pressure with the pencil. Some areas need to be much darker while others should stay almost completely light. And as those differences become stronger, Olivia starts to take on more depth. This is my favorite part of the process because you can actually watch the illusion appear. The letters are still on the same sheet of paper, but they're starting to look like something much bigger. I'm strengthening the edges one more time and making sure the different surfaces are clearly separated. And now I'm cutting away the unnecessary part of the page. This is where the whole idea becomes even more interesting. I want the name to look like it's hanging over the edge of the paper instead of simply being drawn inside a rectangle. But there's still one thing missing: the shadow. A 3D object needs somewhere for that shadow to fall. So I'm extending it toward the left side. I'm using the pencil to create the initial shadow, and then softening it with the sponge. The goal is to make the graphite stop looking like pencil lines and start looking like an actual cast shadow. I'm building it up gradually, because a soft shadow makes the letters feel like they're floating above the page. A few more adjustments with the eraser. A little more shading here. And we're almost there. Now, the structure is finally coming together. And this is the moment when I can turn the page around. and see whether the perspective actually worked. Okay, this is the part I've been waiting for. I'm turning the paper around, and there it is. Olivia is now a 3D name. And just to prove how crazy this illusion is, I'm going to roll the cylinder over it one more time. It's still just paper. Nothing is actually sticking out of the page. But from the right angle, the name looks like a real 3D object sitting above it. And that's the entire illusion. If you want to see your own name turned into a 3D drawing like this, leave it in the comments. I might just pick one of them for the next drawing.